Hey everybody, it is your girl LadyT. Welcome back to another episode of the HBCU Wrap-up. It is the fourth week of LadyT's Black History Month celebration, and I want to shout out different HBCUs. So, on this episode, we are taking a trip to Xavier University of Louisiana. Can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your matriculation?
Hello. So I am Aminah Jones. I went to Xavier University, as you can see. I'm now a medical physician. I was a proud member of Xavier University because it was number one at the time and still is at producing African American physicians. So I chose that school actually. That was one of the things that was attractive, but I really was kind of going because my friend was going at the time.
Okay.
But I really, but nonetheless, when I went, I ended up having a really good time. It's a small campus, family feel, and that's when I realized, okay, this is what I needed, without even knowing that's what I needed. So that's the short story.
I love it. So in the HBCU wrap up, we've definitely hit on some of the reasons or some of the ways that got you to go. So you said a friend. Somebody else said their parent. Somebody else said they wanted to be away. What was your college tour experience like? So I know you said Xavier was attractive to you. Was it your number one choice? Was it even on your list initially?
Oh my goodness. So I went on a trip. It was sponsored by a few members of my church. They were Deltas and it was called Delta Teen Lift. And so I went to school in the South, of high school in the South. And we went on this Delta Teen Lift trip where we went like southeast part of the country and we visited HBCUs. So we went all the way up to North Carolina and then kind of down into Xavier, that kind of sweep. And we went to a whole bunch of schools from like FAMU to Clark, Atlanta, Spelman, all these schools, North Carolina A&T. And actually, North Carolina A&T was my number one. I loved that campus for reasons I will not name.
For a whole lot of reasons. I know for me, I can say the kings on that campus are very handsome. Like there are. Wow, we're not gonna go back there because we're not gonna go back there. But so, can you say going on that HBCU tour? Do you think that had an impact on your decision to go to a historically Black college and university?
It did, because I saw the life. I saw just it was a feeling that you had when you were on campus. Everyone was like, it was like family. It was like a family reunion.
Yeah.
It just felt like that everybody looked like you. It was a feeling like none other. And even the staff, even if they didn't look like you, they were really invested in you.
Yeah.
So the feel, and then of course, when we were there, it was during the summertime, so it was a lot of outdoor activities, and
it's always lit in the summer,
right?
HBCU is very lit. I mean, we cool in the winter, right, but in the summer,
okay,
I feel that. I feel that. So, talking about the culture, right? Culture tradition is super big at an HBCU. What is a tradition that you loved to partake in at Xavier University?
Oh man, that is a good question. We had oh man. So because it's New Orleans, right? We did a lot of things that was kind of New Orleans based.
Okay.
And so it almost felt like Mardi Gras year round. Now I'm not a big Mardi Gras person, but it just felt always like a festivity, always like a festival. We had like homecoming was kind of around the theme of Mardi Gras or something like that. So the odd thing or the thing that made us unique is that Xavier is a private school and it's Catholic. So we kind of toed the line between Black
partying,
Mardi Gras, that kind of thing. So it was always a party.
Teeter-tottering.
Right. Always teeter-tottering. So everything was a party. It was always made to be like Mardi Gras. And yet we, had the boys' dorm, the girls' dorm. Things were pretty strict because we had the whole Catholic kind
of. And that's not necessarily bad, especially in that point of time in life. So Were you a medical student in your undergrad time at Xavier University?
Yes, I was. So I was biology pre-med major, and
Okay.
my minor had to be chemistry. We didn't have a choice.
Okay.
And that was good because it kept me focused. Of course, in hindsight, I kind of wish I would have delved down the road, maybe some other majors, things like that. But yes, it was always super focused. It was kind of like you were in a little bubble, if you will, because
Okay.
everyone that you were in class with, you basically had all similar classes if you guys weren't even in the same class. And so everyone was kind of in a bubble. The biology majors, the chemistry majors, the pharmacy majors, we all knew each other, and then we were even closer if we
Yeah.
had like the exact same major. So it was
Yeah.
like a little family, even a closer family bubble.
Okay. So with that, right, did you have balance? Because I think one thing with going to college in general is that balance of your academics and then also a social life, which kind of balances out the some of the stress and pressure of HBC or college in general. Did you have that balance, or do you think you should have had more balance?
You know what? I felt like I did. I'm really kind of low key when it comes to being like a socialite or out and,
Okay.
doing things socially. So I felt like I had a good balance. Of course I had to do my focus wasn't on school, but I felt like when it was time to play, I made good use of that. And that
Okay.
usually was very planned, right? So that was kind of like
For
Fridays,
sure.
okay, be on the yard, Saturdays, maybe a little downtime after we studied most of the day.
Yeah.
And then Sundays is get back in action. So I felt like I did have a good balance. Even when I lived on and off campus, I still felt like,
That's
and
good.
that was because the friends and the friends slash classmates, they held you accountable. So, you
That's
had no choice.
good. Because I
Mhm.
think, even in college, we think balance, just like we said, the social part, but balance can sometimes, for certain people, just be friends to have a separate conversation other than academics with. So that's awesome. Okay, so what would graduate of Xavier University, Dr. Aminah Jones, tell freshman Aminah Jones? What would be your advice right now?
Oh my goodness, I have so much advice, but I definitely would say because you are real super intense, you trying to prove something to yourself and others. So I
Yeah.
would say relax, like relax and enjoy it.
That has
These
been
are
a
good years.
thing.
Yes, because these are good years. These are years where you can like, make meaningful relationships with certain friends. You can be a little carefree because when you get out of that and you become the doctor, that's a lot more responsibility. So I
Yes.
probably would tell people like, it's a long journey. You got just enjoy this. Ride this out.
Yes.
That's what I probably would say overall. Keep in mind though, you got to keep your grades up, but
For sure, because I know at Morgan State, I had the balance of the partying and the academics, but I had to remember, all right, you got to keep your academics up to stay here to do the partying, but you got to party to balance out the stress of the academics. So I feel that the relax. So there are 106 different HBCUs. If not Xavier, would you have chosen to go anywhere else?
Yes, I would. Absolutely.
Where would you have gone?
I would go to Spelman. I would
Okay.
go to Spelman. Yes. And it's just because I don't know why. I don't know why. I just have always in my mind
Yeah.
felt like that would have been my number one. Now, would I have minded any other school? Nope. Because I love FAM. Again, I went to high school in Florida, so FAM was like where everybody went.
Yeah.
I
That was
would have
home.
loved. Right. I would have loved, of course, North Carolina A&T. That was just a beautiful
Listen,
place.
the homecoming is like no other. I went undergrad and I was like, wait a minute. Is it too late for me to transfer? But
Right.
I love my illustrious Morgan State University.
Exactly. Exactly. And the only other one I probably would say, even though Spelman's number one, I was on Howard for a minute because they were number one and number two at the time. So
Okay. I can see that. I can see that. But that's why it's important to go on tours. Cause I think, there are 106.
Wow.
HBCUs, and there are only so many that I feel like we actually hear about often or talk
Right.
about often, which is why I love that I know somebody from another one of the HBCUs and able to shine light on that because just like you said, Xavier was a little bit close knit and everybody doesn't need to go to that big A&T or that city life of Howard. You know, if somebody's trying to be a doctor, they may think, okay, go to Howard. No, there is Xavier University that is still number one, right? So I think there are so many things to
Right.
HBCUs and going to a historically black college and university.
Yes, I absolutely agree with you. It is like, I don't think I would trade that for anything in the world. That foundation is incomparable. You can't really describe it, other than the smiles on your face. And I
Yeah.
don't know too many people that say, oh man, I regretted going to a HBCU. Have never heard anybody say that, but I
Yeah.
don't know everyone in the world. But I will say that the
Yes.
experience is amazing. And to know that there's 106, I agree with you. That makes you smile. And I
Yes.
just pray that there continues to be 106 and maybe more.
Absolutely. So, to wrap everything up, what is something, a gem, a jewel, a nugget, a tradition that you've taken away after graduating from your HBCU?
You know what? They really lived nurturing. Like I felt like it really was a nurturing environment. And that has taught me that, in a field like I've chosen, which is really competitive, you can sometimes kind of feel like you're being elbowed out. You could, you get into, as you go higher and higher through school,
Yeah.
everyone becomes a little smarter, a little bit more acutely,
Mhm.
whatever your field is that you're in. And so I feel like the one thing that my HBCU experience taught me was to nurture those around me and those behind me,
Yeah.
right? So my walk, it may help somebody else's walk. And so being in that that small community at Xavier, it taught me that we weren't like crabs in a barrel. We were like,
Yeah.
listen, I want you to come up, like,
Yeah.
girl, you didn't, what happened
Yes.
on that test, girl, let's sit down, let's get in this room, let's get it together.
Yes.
I felt like that's what I took with me through school. Even if I did not meet people that did the same thing, I still felt like that's a good fundamental value to have, to nurture others around you and those behind you.
Yes, I feel that. Amina, I would like to thank you for being my Xavier University representative, and thank you for listen. We don't got none of that. Let me talk to Morgan because we don't got none of that. I know
Right, right,
A&T
right.
got they like we don't got none of that. But I want to thank you for being a part of the HBCU Wrap Up Week, guys. We are wrapping it up, okay? You've seen a couple different known and unknown HBCUs, but there are 106 of them. Do your research, take your tours, expose yourself to all of what the world has to offer. And as you've heard, family, close knit, nurturing, confidence, all of that is a takeaway from a historically black college and university, aside from our rich history, okay? So, I am Lady T. I thank you for watching the HBCU wrap up. Stay tuned to what's to come.